So summer's definitely here. Well, you say that, I'm pretty sure next week it's going to be like rain all week. Sorry if I'm moving my neck a little bit weirdly. I've literally just pulled both my traps in the gym, going way too heavy on weighted pull-ups, but it is what it is. We hit a PB though, which is nice. Given that it's summer, it is in fact the perfect weather for a lovely fizzy drink. And while we're here, why not make it as healthy as we possibly can do? Now you've seen all my water kefir stuff. You've seen that I love making water kefir. You might be wondering what on earth this funky looking stuff is, with all this weird floating, assorted leaf stuff. And yeah, it looks pretty damn janky, I'll be honest. But I did in fact make this last year and it's absolutely delicious. This is called a wild soda. This one I've made with rosemary flowers. So this is a rosemary bush. You can see that it is just flowering. Just a really nice kind of light rosemary flavour. Really, really tasty stuff. Now, what you might not know is that there is basically yeast and bacteria on everything, basically. Particularly on things outside, particularly on plants, definitely in flowers, you get these like collections of bacteria and yeast that are, of course, the basis for any good fermentation. You need wild yeast and you need bacteria in this case. They tend to feed on sugars, so all you really need to do on the fermentation side is feed them. And the best way of doing that is a sugar water solution that I'll show you very shortly. But first of all, let's pick a load of these rosemary blossoms so I can make a really nice, delicate, herbal, floral, wild soda. So let's get going on that one. So yeah, in case you were wondering, you can do this with loads of different flowers, pretty much any edible flower, realistically. But yeah, as I say, the rosemary is a great starting point, particularly as if you do have rosemary in your garden or you know of anyone that has rosemary, it will be flowering right now. So a great one just to come out and harvest. These things are so easy to do, and if you think about not only the health benefits, primarily from the gut health standpoint, you've got these kind of yeast and bacteria that have that kind of probiotic beneficial effect on the gut. So I've got a nice bowl of rosemary flower here. I'll probably just make one small bottle with this. Basically, for reference, a big handful. You don't need that many at all. So now what I'll do is I'll head inside and I'll make a little sugar solution. So all you need now is water and sugar. You could go for organic sugar, coconut sugar, raw cane sugar. Generally speaking, the raw sugars might work a little bit better, but really you can use any old sugar if you can't be bothered finding the fancy stuff. When it comes to water, I would think about not going for tap water if your tap water is particularly quite chlorinated. If your water is quite chlorine heavy, then what I would advise doing is pouring out as much water as you need, then leaving it in a bowl or a cup overnight, and the chlorine should evaporate off. The reason being, the yeasts and bacteria don't tend to like chlorine. They might be a bit slower or they might not ferment at all. So to be safe, what you can just use is use bottled water. And this one, I'm just using a natural mineral water. The reason being, lots of these bacteria and yeasts tend to quite like minerals, and it can help with the fermentation process. It's actually inside these flowers that contain a little bit of nectar. That's the stuff that attracts the bees for pollination. Because nectar is quite sugary, you typically have cultures of yeast that actually live within the flowers, feeding on that nectar. It's that yeast inside these flowers that's going to feed the fermentation and get things going, right? And that's why this drink will be carbonated, because fermentation actually produces carbon dioxide, so you get a very nice fizzy drink at the end of the process. So literally now is as simple as putting water in there, putting sugar in, putting them in, and forgetting about it. I will fill up this bottle to about here with water. I will weigh that volume of water. So the best way of doing that is to put this on your scales, zero your scales, fill it up with water to about here, and then figure out what 7% of that weight is. And that is the weight of sugar you then add to this. And then you mix the whole thing up. I'll put it on screen what that would typically look like. And then you mix it up, make the sugar solution, and then add the flowers, and then just forget about it, quite literally. Now, normally this could take about a week. It depends on the temperature. I would recommend keeping it at quite a warm temperature if you can, like 25 degrees Celsius. I'll put the Fahrenheit on screen, and that should get things going quite nicely. I typically just keep mine in my office, in a dark space as well. You don't want it to be in direct light, ideally. And yeah, it might take a few days if you live in a warm climate. It might take up to a week. It might take a tiny bit longer than that. Let's listen to the pop on this, shall we? Woo! I think I might have just broken my mic. Look at that. I wonder if you can hear that. safe to say it's definitely ready. Now you can strain all these bits out. That smells so good. Like sweet floral rosemary, absolutely lovely. Right, I'm gonna pour this. Just look at that. Should we do a little taste test? Oh my God, that is better than, oh my God. That is better than any water kefir I've ever made. It's unbelievable. That is genuinely unbelievable. It's not how you'd think at all. It's like a sweet, floral rosemary flavour. Absolutely just unbelievable stuff. And the maddest thing is you can do this with literally like any herb that flowers or any edible flower that has a flavour. You could use mint flowers, which can taste amazing. Grapefruit mint, which I have in the garden. You could use chamomile potentially, lemon balm, lemon thyme, normal thyme. I wonder if chili flowers would work. I could use some of those chili flowers. You can do this with dandelion flowers as well, which is like this lovely kind of buttery taste. Oh, by the way, on that note, you can actually add like fruit to this as well. You could add blueberries to this. You could make an amazing cocktail with that. Cocktail that you feel a little bit less guilty about because it's got some gut health benefits. Now, there's a bunch of different yeast and bacteria. It's very hard to know exactly how many probiotics you're getting, how much bacteria you're getting. In the same way you would have a pretty good idea when it comes to milk kefir or water kefir. You have a rough idea, water kefir being like 7 to 15 probiotic species, milk kefir being like 60-ish. With this, you know, there's a lot of guesswork here. However, we do know that it is fermented, there is bacteria in there is yeast in there. It's very, very likely that it's very good for your gut. And I would say, damn, that is like the nicest summer drink I've ever had. I do have a tendency to exaggerate, but I promise you I'm not. So that is probably the nicest drink you can make this summer. That is pretty much 0 calorie. Yes, there's a little bit of sugar in there in the end product, but very little because these yeasts do break down an awful lot of that sugar. This counts as one of your fermented foods for the day as well. You seriously need to try this. What an absolute belter. What a delicious, delicious drink that is. And yeah, follow for more videos like this. If you like all this kind of slightly niche health content, I'm digging into all sorts here on this page. Literally, there's no set format. I'm just making videos because I like making them. And if I end up sitting in the garden making a drink out of a flower, then I do that. In the same way, next week, potentially, I'll be doing the best sourdough for your gut. Just because, why not? I don't even really care about gut health. I'm lying, of course I love it. But yeah, enjoy, subscribe for many more random but useful and enjoyable, I hope, videos surrounding health and nutrition, fitness, sleep, lifestyle, etc. that you probably haven't seen before. At least I hope you haven't. Actually, no, I don't. I hope you have seen this and you're already doing this. That would be really cool. Then you can send me your recipe ideas as well. If you have any cool recipe ideas for something like this, send it over. But yeah, anyway, I'll wrap it there. Subscribe, put on the notifications, and I'll see you next week.